With my infamous animation series, it only seems like I'm doing half of my job. As a critic, I feel that it's my duty to not only berate the failures, but to recognize success. Doing one or the other is a trap that many have seemed to fallen into. I also want to make it known that I don't do this because I hate cartoons. I do it because I think that animation is a medium that deserves respect. The more people who don't respect the medium, the more we get crap like the Splinter and Johnny Test or what have you. When people do have respect for the medium, they can create something truly beautiful, like The Last of the Starmakers. Of the original cartoons, Courage the Cowardly Dog was my favorite. It always had its heart in the right place. It could do mature stories and take them seriously. But most importantly, it never talked down to its audience, and created some of the most memorable villains and storylines that I've ever seen. While King Ramses' Curse and Freaky Fred are the most iconic episodes, I think that the best thing they've ever done was The Last of the Starmakers. The story starts out in space, with a space squid father making a bunch of stars. It comes across the space squid mother, and they embrace. The mother has just laid a bunch of eggs. These are the Starmakers, and they are awaiting the hatching when a giant space whale comes by and begins sucking everything up. The father struggles to keep the mother from being eaten, but is unable to. In desperation, he throws himself in the way, allowing the mother to escape. He gives a tear-filled goodbye, and explodes into a bunch of new stars. That alone could have served as a whole animation in and of itself, but it only sets up a premise, as the mother floats towards the Earth and crashes in front of Courage's house in the middle of nowhere because everything seems to. Courage sees this and tries to tell Muriel by leading her outside. They see the Starmaker bury the eggs in the dirt and lie on top of them. Courage, of course, is terrified of her, so she makes a star which seems to calm him down. Eustace comes outside and insults the thing because he's Eustace. When Muriel realizes that the space squid is about to give birth, she calls it a priceless experience. This gives Eustace a particularly evil idea. The space squid shows Muriel what she can do.
Oh my! You make the stars in the heavens above?
The music in this episode is amazing. It's then the space squid reveals that she's the last of her kind. When Muriel agrees to take good care of her, the government comes by because that's what the government seems to do. They give Eustace some money and claim the squid as government property. Muriel stands her ground and gets arrested for it. Then the captain uses a dog whistle to stop Courage from complaining. And you know what? We can't hear the dog whistle. Hey Bubsy, that's how you do it! The squid gets placed into a dome and starts getting her fluids drained. That can't be good. And the eggs are placed in a cage, which really can't be good. Then the captain leaves. Muriel thinks that the squid is withering away, and leaves it up to Courage to make her feel better. So, Courage sneaks into the dome in cartoonish fashion. He begins taking the eggs and knocks out one of the guards in cartoonish fashion, sneaks past the other guards in cartoonish fashion, and swims through the space squid fluid. The scientists step on the hose, causing it to pop. Courage rescues the eggs, and when the scientists chase after him, he hides under the giant space squid. Before the scientists can get Courage, the space squid grabs them, giving the eggs just enough time to hatch. They do hatch, and fly through the roof and into the sky, causing the whole dome to deflate. Even the music takes a triumphant leap as the space squid pats Courage on the head.
Courage, you're part of the miracle of birth, you are.
And then we get this image. Finally, the space squid dies and turns into a garden. That is strangely beautiful.
From making stars above to making flowers on the earth. Now that's the mystery of life, it is.
Muriel gets released, the government goes away, and Eustace gets launched into space because the money he was given was made out of experimental rocket fuel. Sure, why not? Yeah, they end on a joke. Probably a good thing because they definitely needed something to lighten the mood. Like this if you cree everything, because I certainly do. This is an episode that is truly perfect, and a testament to what animation can actually do. It doesn't just stop at doing everything right, it goes above and beyond that. I can only call something perfect so many times before it gets old, but such feelings of sympathy, sadness, and triumph that it elicits cannot be ignored. It's stories like this that stand the test of time, and you have to remember, this was a cartoon made for children. It's kinda for those reasons that I started up Infamous Animation. For every numbnuts talking down to their audience, trying to keep children watching moving colors, or people thinking that cartoons are easy to write for, there are people creating art. They respect both their audience and their medium. A true artist wouldn't be able to respect themselves if they didn't do that. And I suppose it is time to give them the respect that they deserve. Obviously, there's a lot more crap than gems out there, so this isn't going to be nearly as often as Infamous Animation. I also don't want to dilute the meaning of Admirable. I'll get these out when I can, but I'm not sticking to a schedule on this one. Also, if you know of any cartoon episode or animated movie that could be considered a paragon of its craft, I'd really love to know.